San Antonio Spurs are in an interesting place. They've got a Hall of Fame coach mixed with an old guard and center and forwards. That's a good old basketball joke for you. Mixed with a new guard, and last season the results weren't all that great. Obviously, missing the playoffs for the first time since the Cold War, basically, which netted them their first lottery pick since Tim Duncan taking Devin Vassell. Let's dive deep into the film, show you what the Spurs have this season, what to expect. Scout with Bryan, here we go. At the starting point guard, Dejounte Murray is another year removed from the ACL injury, and he is a big-time athlete, long wingspan, very capable player. 37% three-point shooter last year on low volume. That's kind of the biggest question mark for him long term. If he can really expand that volume and continue to knock down shots at a high rate, his form looks pretty good except for the feet, which sometimes tend to fade or kick out a little bit too much. But overall, he's at his best getting to the rim. He also has a decent mid-range game, 43% from 16 to 23 feet. He's got a solid pull-up when he gets downhill. 2 of 10 from 3 in the preseason, so don't be shocked if he dribbles into a couple more of those until he gets his feel all the way back. Big-time right-hand driver when he can use that speed to get to his runners and such around the basket, and a pretty good finisher off the glass. Aside from that, 4 assists to 2 turnovers per game last season. Needs to do a slightly better job taking care of the ball. Gets stuck in the air a little bit too much without a great idea what he's going to do with it. Not the truest point guard in the world. Could definitely serve to improve his feel for the game a little bit. What he is a potential all-defensive guy every year. Big-time strip steal defender. Super long, great hands, great athleticism, obviously, and fuels a lot of their pace through the way he plays. Look at this. This is just textbook great stance. Look at that wingspan. When he plays like that, I mean, guys struggle to do anything really against him. That's what the Spurs ask of him on a nightly basis, and most nights he does a pretty good job of it. He's got to, again, though, improve the feel slightly. This one should have been passed right here. Get Vassell a layup instead of a shot, which is fine, and he does hit. Lonnie Walker, big third year for him. Only 16 minutes a game last season, but right now finds himself in the starting lineup. 40% from 3 last season, but like Murray, pretty low volume. Again, the key with him is going to be consistency. The Spurs, obviously, tremendous player development record in general. I'm sure he's shooting hundreds and hundreds of shots a day to try to continue to refine that form and be able to shoot enough at a high enough volume with the fast pace that they want to continue to play at, and their new style of basically keeping the floor spread at all times with pretty much everybody on the floor. He's also a capable driver, although he does it less than Murray and is not quite the athlete that he is, but also a reasonably fast guy who can play out in transition, play up-tempo basketball. Keldon Johnson was the surprise starter on opening night. He was a 2019 first-round pick, 29th pick out of Kentucky. He plays mostly as a slasher. He was the surprise of the bubble, 14 points, 5 rebounds, an assist and steal per game. Also shot 13 of 22 from 3 last season, but as you can see, he's mostly a catch-and-go guy. He prefers to catch the ball, make a quick decision, and slash to the basket. That is what Gregg Popovich likes about him, clearly, and he's got a good feel for the game. You see an extra pass here for a corner 3. Watching him in the bubble just really stood out to me as a guy that made a ton of winning plays, not everything that showed up on the stat sheet. Here he is picking up full court. He'd be a good guy in the zigzag drill, even though Anderson ends up scoring on this possession. Pretty good defense. That's about the toughest shot you want to force a guy into in today's NBA. You see him again here. He will pick up the ball very early, right as the pass crosses half court, almost surprising Anderson into a steal there. You see again the great stance, forces a tough contested kick-out 3. Look at just the closing speed here to the corner. That's him flying at the corner shooter. He's got a high motor. He's got a lot of promise. And when Gregg Popovich starts you as the surprise opening night starter, that's usually a pretty good sign. DeMar DeRozan is kind of, I guess, the small ball four right now. Was rocking a tremendous head of hair in the preseason. The preseason's basically the only time he'll take threes. Regular season, it's less than one a game, if even that. He is the mid-range master, as always. Does a tremendous job keeping his man on his back in the high pick and roll and getting to his spot around that elbow area and elevating, and that is pretty much an automatic shot from him, which is why he shot such a tremendous field goal percentage even without being able to really make a three. He has turnarounds galore in the post. And this is what the analytics people don't really realize, is they call, some of these shots, yes, are mid-range, they're long twos. He's never coming down here, though, just saying, okay, I'm going to take a mid-range only on this possession. He would love to get to the basket every time if he could. Like here, when the defense doesn't come over and James Harden doesn't do his job, he'll get to the basket. He doesn't predetermine anything. He's playing the game of basketball, and if he can beat you all the way to the rim, he'll do that. If he can get 6, 7, 8, 9 feet, whatever it is, he'll get as close as he can for the best shot that he can get. Everybody in the world knows once he picks up the ball, he's probably going to shot fake you, and yet he still gets to the free throw line all the time as guys continue to jump for it. He's also obviously pretty skilled getting to the rim, and shockingly is only 31 years old, still a pretty big-time athlete. LaMarcus Aldridge, he's 35, but he shot 39% from three last year. On three a game, he might be honestly their best three-point shooter right now besides Patty Mills. He really has expanded his game, spaced the floor. He's going to be tasked with doing it even more this season. Preseason, he shot 21% on more than 6 a game, so more than double what he took last year. Obviously, what he grew up playing and where he will default back to sometimes is the pick and pop long two, which we'll see how much Popovich tolerates. He also is an extremely skilled turnaround post scorer. On the few touches he'll get down there, but he certainly is capable of cooking guys on occasion if given the opportunity. Patty Mills, like we mentioned, is instant offense off the bench. The super lightning Aussie is fast as hell. He's able to get to a wild array of banks and scoop finishes and all sorts of fun stuff. He's a 38% three-point shooter with a tremendously quick release and pretty much is in that game to light up the scoreboard. Will shoot off pin downs, has great footwork, will bump fades out to the corner. Is just a natural, again, shooter, scorer. Devin Vassell, like we mentioned, is the 11th pick, first lottery pick since Tim Duncan. He's a slasher off the ball, a good weak side cutter, a 6'7", kind of 3'4", out of Florida State. Had a tremendous plus-minus in college. Just really stood off the charts as a winning player. Again, a catch-and-go guy. That's mostly his game, at least for right now, where he uses those long arms and wingspan to get the ball up quickly, finish over you with runners and such. Doesn't he look like DeRozan in a way? He's got a lot of DeRozan-like features with those long, skinny arms. When he shoots mid-range, you almost think it is DeRozan. But what DeRozan can't do, Vassell's pretty decent at three-point shooting. 5 for 10 in the preseason, was a pretty good shooter at Florida State. Obviously, that'll be a big key to his continued development. And if you can imagine, DeRozan almost coming into the league with a much better three-point shot, that might be what Vassell is, in addition to what we'll get to, which is very solid, strong defense. He's an unselfish player. Like I said, makes winning plays that showed up really well in terms of Florida State's record, as you see him there driving and kicking to LaMarcus Aldridge. And then, like I mentioned, the defense. He's a really high IQ. He's down here on the weak side corner, but he's going to see a man cut and come and take the ball from him on that possession. Defensively, here he's going to almost blow up the dribble handoff with Frank Jackson, fight over the screen, be in a great help spot. He is in the right places defensively. This time he's going to see Maledon cut behind the defense, come over and take him, steal the ball. Great job again, sliding his feet, and then he hustles. The kid gets after it. He is a selfless, winning basketball player. He takes the challenge. He guards good scores, really good scores, full court. The fact that the Spurs have the confidence in him to basically put him on the best wing scorer on the floor when he's in the game speaks volumes to me. Rudy Gay, still around, still scoring. 33% from three last year, certainly is capable out there, but he also would prefer, if he could, to get to the basket and prefer to go against that kind of James Harden defense every night. He also obviously has some runners and some mid-range abilities and some post fades and all sorts of things that used to make him one of the best scorers in the game. Right now, he's kind of in that Carmelo Anthony Portland type role where he will give you a bucket if needed. He'll shoot the ball decently well from three, and that's mostly what he contributes, but he does it at a pretty high level for San Antonio. Not a starter quality at this point, not for huge minutes, but pretty good when he gets in. Jakob Poeltl is the backup five, I guess you would say. He's got a little push floater that he likes to use to finish around the basket. No threes for him whatsoever. A crafty finisher at times, if a little soft around the basket. 47% free throw shooter last year. That's unacceptable. That's got to get better. Likes to make just smart basketball plays like this. Little fake dribble handoff. Keep it. Finish that. Again, he's a little bit too finesse for my liking and doesn't rate as one of the best backup centers in the league, but he does have a decent feel for the game, decent passer, decent offensive rebounder. Otherwise, Trey Lyles is a stretch four. Sometimes he forgets about the stretch part. Derek White is obviously a huge piece for them going forward. We'll revisit him when he comes back. Thanks for watching. Make sure to thumb up, subscribe, check out the whole season preview series up at top.